slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Conqueror League, brought to you by Titan Esports. I'm Raptor, joined by the ever-awesome Freedom Potatoes. We're throwing it way back in the old school FOF cast here. How you been doing, man?
I'm doing good. I'm always excited to be on the broadcast. Always excited to, hang with the FOF people. I think we've got a pretty exciting matchup. I'm using that word a lot, but cool matchup today between Elysium Yggdrasil versus Phantom Troupe Feitan. We got power of Norse mythology against the power of anime. So the two colossal forces smashing up against each other in this matchup today.
Yeah, can Ely managed to channel their inner Norse and take a dominating win, or can the Phantom Thieves steal it out from under them? We're going to jump straight into the draft. We don't want to keep you all waiting. We're very excited for these games, and I heard this could be a very interesting draft. Both these teams talking about some interesting picks they've been considering. So we'll have to see how they go. So we get underway, already off to a quick start. Viego banned off from Ely. And, both these teams have been topping the Conquerors League so far. We're only in our third week, but 2-0 start for both these teams and already matching up. That's kind of hype to see.
It is, yeah. I mean, they've both performed very well so far, and I'd expect this to be a close series. It seems like, for the most part, they're pretty evenly matched across the board. We've got our resident content creator, Prophet of Tears, I think, predicting a 2-1 in favor of the Phantom Troupe. On paper, that might kind of be how I lean, but it looks really close based on the histories they've shown so far.
Yeah, so we'll have to see if they can keep it closer. If the predictions will be correct, I would like to see go the full distance. Mm-hmm. So a 2-1 would be exciting for me, but we're on our way to the first couple picks. A lot of mid lane bans here, a couple in the jungle, one at the AD carry, and the Skarner, the first pick coming out for Ely.
I think both of these junglers really like a lot of these kind of hardcore, ganking junglers that can take kind of weird paths. I was expecting, the Ivern to be picked or banned. Both junglers play that, so and I think they both also play, or Crispy Nuggets plays Nunu. A lot of these champions that can approach from weird angles. But on the other side, we've got the Xin Zhao, a bit more of an early game oriented fighter, duelist, offers a lot of dive power, and the Veigar, who can kind of shut down those weird angles Skarner likes to take.
Yeah, and also a Sivir to, kind of counteract some of that CC and damage coming out from the Veigar. Going to make it hard for him to pick her as a target, as long as his shield is going to be up. And the Mel coming out here. Almost said her. Mel coming out. I'm happy to see this. I feel like it's been in kind of a weak spot, just because a lot of people, after she first came out, were really tired of her, her kit, and they nerfed it quite a bit. But I do like to see it, and I think especially into like an Ashe and a Veigar could be very effective, especially if it's sitting there at the support, it's body block those arrows.
Yeah, there's some key ultimates that I think if the Mel can reflect those, it's going to be massive for the side of Elysium. The Ashe R, the Veigar R, both can deal a ton of damage and CC. But if you get stunned first and don't get the chance to use that reflect, you are pretty squishy as the Mel. So I think that ability is going to decide how a lot of these fights go, especially going later in the game.
Yeah, and a lot of beef, a lot of shields and little ability to block spells here from Ely. So they're prepped for a very pick heavy, I feel, comp coming out of the Phantom Thieves. A lot of CC. I get, you can already see that with the Braum, with the Ashe, the Veigar cage. A lot of good potential here and a lot of good counter from Ely. Phantom Thieves, though, not thinking that Mel is going to be the support. I think it's a mid with those bans, and so far, this could be the lock-in for us to see where that's going to go.
I really like that Olaf pick as a response. PTF's team is so reliant on that CC, you know, like if Olaf can just run through the Braum, run through the Ashe, run through the Veigar, he doesn't care about any of that CC, and they don't actually deal that much damage, like, up front. It takes a while, you know, if he can dodge those skill shots from Veigar. So I like that pick a lot, but it's going to be answered with the Alawi, and we've also got the Yuumi for the side of, okay. The sides were swapped, so Elysium is actually going to be on the red side here, and PTF on the blue. So yeah, we've got that corrected now. So yeah, now we get to see the final drafts. Yeah, Raptor, what are your thoughts on how this game's going to go?
Well, I was liking PTF's draft, the real draft from them, until I saw the Yuumi. That's why I was making those faces. I don't like the Yuumi pick. I think Yuumi is not the greatest, especially into a heavy CC bot lane like Braum Ashe. I think it just makes it too difficult to deal with everything. I mean, I guess you could jump off and block some of the slows, but you're basically just a walking double kill in the bot lane. And I guess you have Sivir to charge him down with Olaf. I don't know. I feel like there are just better options you could pick here. So I think I'm gonna give it to Ely. I think their comp is more well-rounded. I am a little worried about if Alawi and Ika can really get a good ultimate off, but the rest of the comp is very solid, and there's a lot of potential here for them to really find some good fights.
One of my favorite words I like to throw around is ease of execution. I think Elysium has a very easy to execute comp. You hit the cage, you hit Ashar, you hit the Xin Zhao. I think that's Wind Becomes Lightning, and charge in. You know, they've got a lot of easy ways to start a fight, and a lot of ways but also to back off if they get engaged on. Whereas PTF is, especially if they get behind, I think going to really struggle this game. From ahead, like if you have, you know, Olaf with the Yuumi on him, charging in with Sivir, there's not a lot that Elysium's comp can do if PTF is in the lead. But I think they still have more general angles to win the game on the side of Elysium.
I agree, and I think the hard part is also for PTF is their comp is all about going in, using the Sivir ult to accelerate the Skarner, accelerate the Olaf in. And while Olaf can be CC freed, or like you can prevent him from getting slowed, you still lock him up a little bit. And this Elysium team is a team that really wants their enemy to come charging into them. You know, Braum wants you on top of him, Alawi wants you on top of her, same with Xin Zhao. The Ashe can kite very well, same with the Veigar. So I think it feels to me like a stronger counter to the PTF comp, and has more ways to deal with the win conditions of PTF, where PTF's against Elysium is hoping, okay, that we just kind of stat check them with Olaf charging and that we just can blow them up. So I'll be interested to see how they play it out. If they can manage to pilot this, I'll be very impressed. But I still think, for at least me, I think Elysium has the stronger one. But we'll have to see who will take this first game as we get underway with game number 1 in just a moment. First, and we are back in with game number 1 for today. I'm going to start with a nice zoom in on the Yuumi. For those who don't know, also, I revealed that there's likely a Yuumi legendary skin coming soon. So maybe they're just prepping, so when that comes out, King can just play Yuumi with a cool looking skin, just to add a little bit more insult to injury when you get the cool skin.
Ooh, Egg Whites almost got tagged by the volley from Ashe there, which could have been bad. Those slows, once you get hit by the first one, it's easy for the rest to follow up, but is able to make it out, and Yuumi gets to continue chilling down here by the bot lane.
Yeah, a little cat just chilling, getting its stretches in, getting some scritches. Oh, the cats. You know, we need just variants of Yuumi. There are every type of cat: tuxedo cat, Siamese cat, Mancoon. Just give me the variants of cats.
Yeah, why haven't they done that? That would actually like print money for Riot. Now that I think about it,
yeah,
it's
I want a tuxedo cat skin for Yuumi.
Could just chromas, right?
All
you
the
better
chromas.
do it.
Yeah, cat chromas. This is the potential. It's like with Nefiri. Just give me dog chromas. give me a Corgi Nefiri as Olaf going in onto Yika, getting a nice little trade here, getting out quite a bit of damage, but the tentacle is doing quite a bit of work, isn't really winning this. I don't know if you win the level 1 here, and you don't, Yika. First blood on the Alawi. I think there's a lot of opportunities out of that.
That's a little bold. I mean, you've really got to play with some fancy footwork to dodge away from those tentacles at level 1. You know, she's already got 2 of them set up by the time Olaf takes that fight. Maybe if you can, like, catch her in a spot where her passive's on cooldown and she doesn't have a tentacle, that's more winning. Or, again, if you can really sidestep B. I think there were a few missed axes and a few hits from the tentacles that maybe could have been dodged away from. I know Olaf can be very strong on those low HP values, but that's not how you want to start the game, especially as a champion that, you know, we were talking about in Select. It's I think it's pretty dependent on being ahead for PTF.
Yeah, and I feel like Olaf, especially if you're starting Q, level 1, isn't the greatest into an Alawi who can just, you know, get the free heals off the W and you don't get your heals till your W's up. So I feel like it was an unnecessary trade, but Food Battle's gonna just have to deal with that now as the Alawi. Well, it's still up in CS on the Alawi, but there's the Mel bounce back. Could be very good in this mid lane, especially to Veigar. He's got a lot of kind of pokey abilities here, and getting really low there. The Black Fulgurator. Ooh, the Mel with a solid kill. The solo kill in the mid lane.
Yeah, it's easy to underestimate the damage that Mel passive can do, you know? I mean, Cordelia sees that Ruthenium is low on mana and sticks around for the fight, but you're low on HP on the Veigar there, and that is a squishy champion early game. So that last Q with the flash auto gives a kill back to PTF.
Yeah, people don't. I still feel like people don't respect the Mel passive enough. They don't realize if you get auto attacked, even when you have enough stacks to kill you, you will die. You'll just be executed immediately. It's what makes Mel really good at last hitting minions. So, gotta be more respectful of that. The cage is good, but I mean, I guess you force the flash, but you lose your teleport in the process, and so does the Mel. So, at least you got flash still on Veigar. Yeah, you could say you got the summoner trade, and speaking of trades on the top side, Ecot getting the better of Food Battle. These Spirit Pulls doing really good work, and this Olaf is struggling, but here comes the Skarner. Might be looking for a solid gank here. Can Ecog get out? The axe is gonna go wide. Here comes the Crispy Nuggets looking for Ecog, trying to maybe see if they can pick off the Olaf. He's not gonna be able to, unfortunately, and kill's gonna go over to Crispy Nuggets.
Olaf does burn the ghost, and Yikos still has the flash. I wonder if that might have been a kill angle. I feel like with Grasp Up, probably could have been another kill for Yika, but I mean, it was very close. And actually, Mango is up here too now.
Yeah, looking for the potential onto the Olaf, trying to get the knock up. He's going to hit it, but the shield will land, and he's not going to finish it off. Olaf will get away. It's on the bottom side. Guster Posey is taking a little bit of poke there.
Yeah, bot lane pretty even so far. I mean, you know, I think both of these champions kind of just want to farm up. It's really, I think, on the Braum Ash to make something happen if they want, but overall just going pretty neutral for now.
Yeah, Yumi doing better than I thought, doing some good poke. I'm still worried about the later stage of the game, especially with the changes they made last year to Yumi's ult. I just don't think Yumi is as powerful as she used to be. And I don't know, I still think it's a struggling pick, but doing well so far, managing to hold well in the lane, getting some nice poke off. See if they can continue to manage with that, as the game basically dead even right now between these two teams. And looking for action. I think the first bit of action we're going to see might be around this Cloud Drake, but in the mid lane, here comes Mango, and here comes Crispy Nuggets. It's a double gank here. It's Mango going in, looking for Mel. The deflection stops the damage, but doesn't send it back. I actually haven't seen that interaction before with the Meteor.
Yeah, for things that aren't like a projectile per se, it kind of blocks the damage, but yeah, it doesn't give you that reflect. But with that down, oh, there it is.
Oh.
That's that. I was gonna say, with the reflect down, Cordelia can just flash QR, and it just happened as soon as the camera goes away. So nice little trade back, taking advantage of that window, knowing Ruthenium doesn't have the flash, and Cordelia back to bringing this lane back to even.
Yeah, and Vagar, we just got word from production who's checking it now, showing us on the screen. 42 stacks on the Vagar, so scaling very well right now. 6 and almost 7 minutes into this game. I actually played into a Mel recently and had a very good, found a good counter to her in the mid lane.
What's your counter pick to the Mel?
Briar.
Oh,
because she doesn't want to block Briar to ult. Because then she goes back with it.
I have seen some clips of that interaction, but the lane itself, I don't know. Briar doesn't have a ton of range, but I guess you can kind of just jump in there anyway.
Yeah, you just kind of play it very aggressively, and you wait for Mel. Like, once you see the animation start winding up for Mel Q, you just immediately jump in and with W and Q her and just stun her and take a couple hits at her. But it's better, especially post 6, because if you throw the ult at her, she's just going to run away, because if she takes it, you jump on her, and if she blocks it, well, she's going to go back to you and then come flying at you, which means that you are now have her where you want to be. So I think it's a pretty solid pick in that regard. But this Vanguard is working very well into it, into the Mel. So it might be another pick to look into myself later on when I get to play a game. As we see top side going still in the favor of Yika, and ooh, Cordelia getting a nice little. Okay.
Probably the biggest advantage right now in the game is that top side, the Alawi up. Was up about 20 CS. It decreased a little bit, but roughly a kill's worth of gold just from farm, and I think we can, that all stems from that level 1 play, probably having to burn the TP early on the Olaf. But right now it looks like Skarner's doing the grubs up top side, and there's not really a counterplay being made unless Mango walks in here.
Mango looking for it. He does see him. First grub does go over to PTF, but now Mango is on these other ones. Gets the second. Cordelia is here to help back up. So is Yika. And it's going to be the grubs to Ely.
Mango says thanks for the leash. Well, I guess you can't really leash grubs because they heal after, killing them. But yeah, Food Battle had to reset there. But
down here on the bottom side, we have the Yuumi ult getting some work in. They're going on to Guster, and he will fall. The blue team PTF gonna claim the war accolade there. And Sivir does ult, so 2 ults down for PTF, but worth it to get the kill. The one time I feel like Yuumi ult is good on an enemy that can't really run away. Oh.
Yeah, I'm not sure where Arrow went on the Braum there. Kind of leaves Guster alone, and it's capitalized on nicely by the bot lane of PTF. I was saying they don't have like a ton of agency, but if they do see that Ashe alone, it's a pretty easy kill because they have all that speed and the slows coming through from the Yuumi.
Yeah, I'm guessing Arrow had to go back and get something, and Guster just spent a little too far time forward. I also want to point out, right before all that, we were looking at the gold, and Yika and Food Battle are actually pretty close. I think about 200 gold off from each other, so this is a pretty close matchup despite Yika really getting the better of it. And now Food Battle taking a little nice trade there, but Yika getting a double slam with the tentacles. Always got to watch it.
The healing from the tentacles in particular is really huge for the Alawi because, Olaf is such a strong drain tank just from auto attacking. And yeah, Alawi's healing a little more conditional. Need to hit those Qs or have those tentacles slam from their W and your ult to get it.
Landing onto the Yuumi. They're looking for Kingmaker. Gonna stun him up. Is he gonna get away? He is not. Guster gonna take down the King. Call him King Slayer at this point. But a kill returned to the bot lane.
It's so dangerous to be outside of the Sivir as Yuumi. I mean, optimizing your play as Yuumi, you do got to come out occasionally, but it kind of seemed like Kingmaker was just chilling for no particular purpose there, and then gets caught and, dies pretty much instantly. I mean, that Yuumi is very squishy.
Yeah, and I'm wondering, he had time to W afterwards. I wonder if he had just tried to in the middle, getting hit with the arrow, and thus had it on cooldown and couldn't get away. I know that's always the worst feeling as Yuumi is when you're trying to jump off back onto an ally and get knocked out of it, and you're like, well, I'm stuck here for a couple of seconds.
Yep. The
number one way you die.
CC really screws over the cat. And it's as we expected a little bit, but yeah. Still pretty close down there in the bot lane, and actually with Yuumi returning to lane now, there's a bit of an HP advantage for the side of the PTF spot lane, but it looks like they do want to reset and spend some of that money that they've built up, perhaps.
Yeah, Ely gonna grab something out of that. Ash did pick up the kill, so might be able to finish something there. It is gonna be Utah,
Crispy
and ooh,
nuggets.
Crispy Nuggets looking for Cordelia. The nice flash, but the ultimate gonna be stopped by the cage, and the ult coming out from the Mel too. So 2 ults burned, and no kill picked up for
Yeah.
PTF. Ely getting out of that one.
They do get the flash off the Veigar, but yeah, I think Crispy Nuggets just kind of has to hit the S key once he grabs the Veigar there, because he's kind of dragging him around back and forth in the cage, and trying to find the spot to drag him a little further without getting stunned himself. And then yeah, I think that made one of the Mel abilities actually whiff, and that might be the difference between life or death for Cordelia. But now he's trying to sneak the dragon.
Yeah, but Egg White has been caught, forced a flash over the wall. Arrow goes over the arrow, gonna fly Guster. And now Ely on the rim. Here comes Crispy Nuggets, though, looking for Arrow. He's gonna manage to hit the stun, but Cordelia is here with the cage, really trapping Crispy Nuggets in between the wall there.
Ooh.
The Mel throwing it with the stun, and Rutinium is gonna pick up the first kill of this fight. Can another come on through? Looking for the stun to Mango, forcing him to flash. Cordelia, ooh, getting the Q blocks, but not a lot of damage coming back, and BTF wins the fight, and now they're on the dragon. But Cordelia is still here, and everyone is low. This could be the opportunity. The ult is still up. Crispy Nuggets got to be careful. Forced a flash out. As the Jin Shadow goes over, Mega looking for something, but doesn't expect it. It's going to help take that here. So killing it for Crispy Nugget. 2 members of Ely still here. Everyone is really low. Cordelia could have the opportunity to pick up a kill here. Meanwhile, topside Econ in food battle. Not juking it out. Yika looking for the ultimate, trying to slap down, and the tentacles come raining from every direction. Food battle's gonna go down, and Yikon's gonna pick up 1 kill. And Dragon, wait, did PTF? Yeah, PTF secured that.
PTF did get the dragon at the end of all that extended fight down bot lane. I mean, yeah, it was very back and forth down their bot. It looked like PTF had the advantage, and then they kind of overstepped and had to back off. Went onto the dragon with those low health bars and had to flash out. But then Mango goes over the wall and gets caught out. And in the end, PTF is able to get the dragon, but not too much else. And yeah, the Olaf up topside, unable to dodge away from all of those.
Yeah, so let's watch this fight again here. So Crispy Nugget had a pretty good catch onto Arrow, but the cage prevents anyone from catching up. Rutinium picking it up there. And, Potatoes, why don't you break down this fight? I already cast the first. I want to hear your thoughts on it.
Yeah, so I mean, they get the huge play with Rutenium at the very start there, but then they go back to the dragon with these low health bars, and Cordelia is waiting around, still has the ult in this rush, and so I like the retake by Elysium here, but once they get that flash, I think they kind of have to be happy with that kill, because, yeah, Mango goes over the wall, and then the Yuumi shielding comes through, the Mel has the root to disengage a little bit, and then another kill comes through. And this dragon's still a little scary to take, but I think they just don't feel quite confident enough for the side of Elysium to get in there, and yeah, it ends up being just a smite, and then they get out for the side of the Phantom Troupe.
Yeah. And Phantom Troupe managing to secure the dragon. Almost got it stolen there. Cordelia almost landed that meteor. And
once we get a little more AP on the Veigar, that's like a very real threat you have to worry about. Right now, probably only a couple hundred damage. Smite easily outclasses that, but yeah, food battle down 2 levels and might be under threat of a dive as there's a fight in bot.
Yeah, another fight in bot lane. Arrow going forward, trying to block the ultimate. They blocked the shield. Egg White is going to fall. And now the Sloop Pinata is open. Double stun onto Kingmaker. And kill going over to Guster. Meanwhile, on the top side, food battle falls yet again to Yika. This Ilaoi is kind of getting out of control. It was a close gold lead, but I bet if we look now, it is probably incredibly accelerated. Tinium's going to pick up something there, is going to grab Arrow, so at least they get a little something back. If they've lost 1 turret, they might lose a second, because Arrow's about to be
they've got that Arrow
side.
And those inner turrets are worth so much gold. If this goes down here, which it may, although the Sivir is coming, but yeah,
it goes down.
That's 2 turrets in the same push, and at least I'm going to be very happy to collect all that gold onto this Ilaoi, who's such a threat on the side lane.
Yeah, up almost 60 CS on her lane opponent. This Ilaoi is going to become a problem. Like, Olaf is going to have to be permanently stuck in the lane with them, or they're going to have to send Sivir to do the wave clear. And at that point, like, if Sivir's gone, you are screwed in team fights. Like, you have no tool to give Olaf his way in. Crispy Nuggets. Yeah, I feel like this is becoming a very rough position the Phantom Thieves are finding themselves in, and they're gonna have to really find a way to get some ahead. The Mel is starting to get a little ahead, same with Crispy Nugget, but I think either of them can really deal with the Alawi.
Yeah, you don't really want like the Mel can wave clear into Alawi and actually manage her pretty fine, but I feel like then that's your strongest member of the team right now, out of the team fight, just stuck on side, and that's also a situation you don't want. So yeah, I think Elysium has the cards in their favor right now. But the gold lead only about 2,500, so that's still something that PTF can come back from. It's just, as we kind of mentioned in draft, I do think PTF's comp is a lot harder to execute on from behind, which is where they find themselves right now.
Yeah, and Rutinium is stuck in that side lane, looking for Yika here, who's going to get a bit of damage with just the jump. Doesn't even hit the tentacle. Arrow is here looking for Rutinium, going to miss it. And Turret's going to fall in the mid lane. And 3 people bot, no one on PTF really stepping up to defend. They really have a hard time with it because they don't really have a lot of, outside of those shields, if those are down, they don't really have a lot of blocking tools to deal with any CC or any engage coming out of Elysium. It's starting to choke in a little bit. Elysium managing to kind of exert their pressure around Cordelia. Going to move up to the top side here. 126 AP on the Veigar. So stacking is stacking.
He is stacking up, and yeah, pretty much getting the free farm, which is exactly what you want as Veigar. We saw that champion can have some early struggles, as Rutenium might be in danger here.
Yeah, it looks like he's in danger. The ultimate is going to come down, the slaps, the tentacles, and they're going to pick up the kill, but it's going to cost them 2 ultimates and a flash to do so. So they don't really have a lot of tools to contest this dragon, though that shutdown will be pretty nice. I think it was a shutdown.
It was a shutdown, and
oh, here comes Crispy Nuggets going on into Mango and Arrow. Cordelia and Gus are here. The teleport coming in from Food Battle. It is going to be a 4v4. Here comes the charging forward, looking for Mango, trying to pick up one kill, but getting super low. Guster is going to pick up that, and the Arrow going to stop any return here. The Dragon probably going to go over to PTF, but can they get out of this? Everyone really low. Arrow going forward, looking for the stun on Rutenium. Going to get the stun, going to land it. The bombs are going to drop, and he's going to live. Crispy Nugget, though, will manage to pick up the kill onto Arrow. A lot of damage flying, a lot of low members on the side of Elysium. The Sivir is trying to get away, but here comes Yika looking for it. He's going to miss the tentacle, but they're going to trap Crispy Nugget in there. They're trying to deal with Yika. He's so beefy, but he will eventually fall. The tentacle not going to quite pick up Crispy Nugget, so Egg White going to pick up a kill, and now on the hunt looking for more, but still low. So many low members after this fight here, and PTF coming out ahead just very slightly.
Yeah, I'd say, considering the state of the game, that's very good for PTF, but what is Egg White's doing so deep in here?
Yeah.
Looks like the Sivir should be fine in the end. That's a scary spot to be in. But yeah, because we were just talking about how PTF, probably going to struggle to play a lot of these fights, and they had just used 2 of their big ultimates, the Mel and the Skarner, down bot to get that Alawi, and yeah, they feel confident taking the fight, and it ends up going in their favor pretty solidly. They get that second dragon for themselves and a good number of kills, so they've narrowed this gold lead to just 1,000 now.
Yeah, gold lead definitely shrinking here, and Cordelia being caught out by Crispy Nugget and Rutenium again. The Mel is very powerful, looking to get that last hit, looking to get that execute, and it is going to pick it up. Going to go on a rampage. The Mel doing surprisingly well despite the nerfs, has been very effective this game and really keeping PTF in it.
I think a lot of those nerfs that they did to Mel also were kind of targeted at some of the more frustrating parts of her, like being able to hit Q and it being virtually undodgeable and things like that. But her core identity of kind of stacking up damage and just executing people, that's still very much there. Her lane was tamped down a little, but when she is 5-1 like this, she can deal some devastating damage from a pretty good range and play pretty safe too into all the CC that Elysium has.
Yeah, I don't think anybody has managed to get to the 3 feats yet, so that is still up in the. Actually, no, one of them should have gotten the damage one. I don't know who did. Let me look at these boots. Okay, no, I don't know.
Yeah, Elysium has it.
Okay, I was like, our markers aren't showing.
they're looking for Yika here with the
Yeah.
silver ult.
Yeah, they're trying to find him here. Mango on the side, but there's so many members. The ult's gonna come down, but Rutennium is just gonna go unstoppable. Meanwhile, though, Crispy Nugget getting knocked up, getting bounced, housed around, gonna get the ult for 2. And the Mel looking to maybe pick up a kill here. Mango on the run, but isn't gonna get away. Rutennium is dominating in this game. The Mel is taking over.
You can't be fighting in these chokes against that Mel. I mean, you see her just dishing out so much damage with those Qs and Es, and yeah, I thought this was maybe an overcommit onto the Alawi, but they do good damage onto her. You know, she can't hit these ranged carries very well. She likes fighting those melees, and then a huge ultimate from Crispy Nuggets locks down Elysium, and yeah, it's over.
A strong start here. 1,000 gold lead now for PTF. They are up in this game, and they've managed to start getting some of these neutrals after what was honestly a very rough start for them. They've been very down in this game, and the ECOT was at 1.3-1, now 3-4, has really struggled in these team fights. We were talking about this in draft. Would the Alawi be able to really get good ultimates off, be able to really exert pressure in these fights? And unfortunately has not been able to really yet, just because the burst of the Mel, and 2, the just their mobility, getting away from those tentacles. It's been a little rough, but still a lot of game to go. The Veigar is still scaling the Ashe, still getting into a good position. I think has maxed her crit on the Utals now, and we're getting close to the next dragon. 40 seconds until that. And hundreds from production, we're hearing 169 stacks on the Veigar, so getting close to that really big point. I want to say, what's it, like 200, 250 is about the really break point for Veigar to become just a monster with the AP.
Somewhere, yeah, in that kind of like 200 to 300 range, I feel like is when you really start feeling the value of that passive, kind of overtake those early game weaknesses, and yeah, you can start to nuke people, even with a relatively defensive build. And what's it? Yeah, I mean, I really need to see. I think for the side of Elysium, I need to see Yeehaw continue to apply pressure on the side lane, and really play smart around PTF's movements, because we can see that they're always so pushed up. There's a fight breaking out mid.
Yeah, they're looking for Rutennium. Crispy Nuggets going, but Mango gonna dash forward. The stuns are gonna land. Mango getting kind of low. Isn't gonna get nuked out this time. The ultimate will save his life for now. Crispy Nugget gonna get stunned up, but the charge is on. Egg White looking for someone here. Gonna start throwing out the boomerangs. Crispy Nugget taking a little bit of hope, but now Yeehaw seeing 4 there, only seeing Football Fan, who still can't deal with him. This is gonna rip into this turret. Inhibitor turret will fall. Inhibitor probably gonna fall with it. PTF gonna try for this dragon, at least to get a consolation prize. It will put them at soul point if they manage to get it, which I think they will. Inhibitor will fall here as the fight is going to break out here. A flash out from Rutennium. They are going to get the dragon. Crispy Nugget going forward, looking for Arrow. Going to slam him into the wall to stun Bullion 2. It's a massive 3-man ultimate, but can he find anything here? Crispy Nugget going to get nuked by the Veigar. Arrow will fall. The Veigar will fall. Guts will fall. Will pick up that kill. Now Yeehaw is here against 4, but can the Alawi get the huge one? Slap down versus Raw with those tentacles, and it's gonna get 1 kill, but will lose their life in the process. So when ace for PTF, they lose their top inhibitor, but they get the dragon, they get the ace, so they're gonna get another turret out of it most likely.
Yeah, soul point secured for PTF, and the Alawi very effective on the side lane, but once again, once the team fights roll around, it's a pretty different story. It's so hard to kill off Rutennium, who's now got 3 items completed, and when the Yuumi is sitting in that Mel, it feels like she is just unkillable. She's got those shields and heals coming from the Yuumi, and is able to reflect any of the key abilities that Elysium can throw out. So yeah, these fights really swinging in PTF's favor in these past few minutes, as the Baron is going to be kind of the next major objective. And I think having that inhibitor down is going to let Elysium kind of exert a pressure with the Alawi down bot side, but she doesn't have TP. So if PTF starts that up, I think it's going to be really hard for Elysium to contest, and they might be happy to give, a bottom turret for the Purple Worm.
Yeah, meanwhile, Arrow getting locked up by Crispy Nugget and Rutenium. Oh, gonna get ulted. It's gonna get pulled back. And it's probably gonna fall here. The ult will kill him, so it's 2 ults down, but they get 2 for it, and they're probably gonna get a third. Mango gonna fall. A double kill going over to Egg Whites. 3 kills over to PTF as a whole. And now they're marching it down mid lane, trying to break their own side of this inhibitors, taking Elysium's middle. And I think this is a continual problem is, Elysium, they're never all together for the team fight. Like, you have this big Alawi, and you never have her there with you at the start of fights till everyone's gone. So they're not able to really utilize its effectiveness. Split push is great, but when you're losing all your allies, and now they're going to lose another. Cordelia getting super low, looking to maybe pick up this Skarner, but not going to be able to. Yika trying to exert pressure. Tenium continues to be legendary. Gonna pick up 1 kill there. Might get a second. The ult from Arrow trying to get everyone of him as the first Nexus turret does fall. PTF, they're going to back out after that one. There's just not enough in the tank right here. The Arrow from the Mel gonna get deflected back at Guster. Get the stun on him. And that's just another tool down here. Ooh, Egg Whites. A lot of damage. We're going to watch a replay really quick of what just happened there. But PTF, it feels like they might have this game in the bag at this point.
Yeah, it does feel good for them. Now, I will say I don't actually love the play they went for here at the end. I think getting Baron, which they probably could have done, would have been huge for them. But those Nexus turrets respawn, the inhibitor respawns, unless they're able to really capitalize on the pressure from this mid inhibitor, which I think Veigar can deal with those super minion waves quite well. It might end up being kind of a relatively low value play considering the number of kills they had going into it.
Very fair, and Crispy Nugget and the team are going to take this blue buff. They're up 4,000, actually almost 5,000 gold here, 28.5 minutes into the game. They're going to start up the Baron. I think Elysium knows they're all rotating over. Yika, the only one not, doesn't have teleport, so this will be a 5v4 in PTF's favor. Can Mango get the steal? He's getting low. He's trying to go in. He's not going to get the steal, though, and he has no flash or way out, so he's just buying time for his team. Maybe get some poke down, but he will fall. An objective bounty claimed for the team as they do take the outer bottom turret.
Careful, Cordelia.
With no Baron to their name, and now PTF on the hunt looking for Cordelia. They're trying to get a pick here. They're going to lose PTF another turret. They're going to lose that inner bot turret, but they might just try to end the game here. 3v5, Alawi not back yet. This could be the push to end the game already. 29 minutes in, the teleport is coming through. Jumping around. Another bounty is claimed. They managed to get 2 in time. The fight is going to break out. Down goes Crispy Nuggets. The Mel looking to pick up the ass. Picks up the Alawi as well. She will fight. Veigar will get the shutdown, but now Food Battle is on the hunt. He hungers for the blur his enemies, and he gets 1. Will he get a second? Maybe not. He's looking for Mango. The exhaust will come through. He's not going to find another, but it's not going to matter. PTF going to pick up game number 1.
Big game for PTF. It looked like they were pretty down, and they were at a deficit, but a really well played comeback by them. And I feel like, Rutenium and Crispy Nuggets felt like 2 huge players in that game to me. The impales from the Skarner were immaculate, and the follow-up from Rutenium was just delivering so many kills. Look at the damage charts. The Mel almost dealing double the damage of anyone else in this game. And I think that kind of says it all.
I agree that this was the Mel game. We had questions about it, whether it be effective or not. It took over the whole game. It turned this from what was looking like an easy Elysium dub to just a complete reversal there. And if I'm Elysium, I'm kicking myself. Dang, we had that lead. What happened? And I think part of it is just, they weren't on the same page. They let Yika just keep getting caught out and picked off by Rutenium. The shutdown and all that gold really giving the opportunity for them to get in really far ahead in this game. And your Alawi is never with the team. It doesn't matter how fed they are. You don't really have much front line there. Like, Xinjiao isn't your front line, and it needs to be the Alawi. So I'm hoping that they'll be a little bit more coordinated. Maybe a pick that's a little bit easier to join with the team if they're going to be on that split push. Maybe something like Shen or something, maybe even Gangplank. But I think we'll have to see how they go into the next draft. But I think both teams did show some strong performances, stronger game from Elysium, strong mid and late game from PTF. So we'll have to see if they can adjust and make the changes they need to get those other spots all be cleaned up.
Yeah. I think for Elysium, looking at like the mid game, it really felt bad for them that a lot of times they had to use these ultimates, which are really strong for them defensively. Like they had to use Xin Zhao ult to keep the Xin Zhao alive, or Astral to peel for someone else. Instead of playing for proactive picks with those. If you're always on the back foot, it's a lot harder to get value out of those. It's like, if you use Ashar to peel, there's no follow up damage, and it kind of is, like Veigar Cage does that job a lot better than your ultimate does. So feel that was kind of a feels bad for Elysium. And I think playing around kind of the tempo, if Alawi's pushed up, the team needs to respond somewhere else. If they've got to send 2 to 3 people to kill Alawi, maybe you can get a turret, a dragon, something else. But I felt like they were just a little discoordinated on the tempo there, and that was really what let PTF back into the game and find a surge in Muddy and then the objectives and close it out in the end.
Yeah, I agree. So we will see. We're going to go to a short break, but don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with game number 2.
Oh, hello everybody, and welcome back to the Conquerors League. We're watching PTF take on Elysium after a pretty solid comeback after a rough early game from PTF, managing to take it with the power of Mel Mid. I'm Rap, joined once again by Freedom Potatoes with higher HD voice audio.
I'm glad we got that cleared up. Yeah, no, that was a bit of a banger game one in my opinion. I like the resilience that PTF showed. Definitely gives me a lot of confidence for them going into game two. But we still saw that Elysium, Yggdrasil could build leads for themselves, and I think if they can tighten up their play a little bit, they could totally pick up a win and send us to game number 3.
Yeah, I think so. I think this is very close. To being a that game was pretty close. I could easily see this series going the distance, but it's gonna require Elysium to kind of clean up their mid and late game, especially that mid game. There's a couple points where they just got caught out and let PTF back in, especially around that dragon fight. Just ended really poorly for them. So they can clean that up. I think they'll be in a good spot.
I was astonished seeing that Olaf, who was like 0-3-1 and like 30 CS down, just charge in and somehow like 1v4 Elysium's backline. Like, that doesn't feel right. I thought he couldn't do that, but I guess he can. But we do have Fearless Draft. So, everyone from that game number 1 is going to be off the table going into game number 2.
So we're going to throw this to... I'm sorry, production told me we were throwing it. Oh, to Kiss, Marry, Kill. Awesome. So we're looking at this week's Kiss, Marry, Kill. We got Pool Party Graves, Space Groove TF, and Debonair Leona. And wow, we are, I think, almost unanimous. Sherrigan, the only one changing it up here between who he would kill. Yeah, he's...
Yeah.
So only swap there of killing and kissing Pool Party Graves and Space Groove TF. According to Sherrigan, it is because of those card fingers that TF has. Fair enough. But I like that we all decided marry Leona. Like, I feel like we all knew that was the wife material.
It's a classy skin. Yeah, she's got the money. You're gonna be set for life. To me, the Space Groove Twisted Fate kind of just reminded me of like Vector from Despicable Me. That's kind of the vibes I was getting. I was like, I don't know about that one. That I hadn't really taken a close look at it before. It's kind of cool from a distance. I was just
I just like the Graves skin. If I was a little bit more muscular, that's actually kind of what and had a beard, that's what I would look like. So I just kind of relate very well to Graves. Is that a little bit of God, what's the word?
Narcissism? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like the love yourself,
Yeah, is that a little bit of narcissism with the Graves? Maybe. But yeah, I just...
little narcissism's healthy.
Yeah,
a little bit. Healthy doses.
Yeah. We're gonna move underway into draft from that. If you agree with... Yeah, so, if you have different opinions on that, let us know in the chat. But we're gonna get underway. Fearless down at the bottom, so you can see everything that has been banned so far. It's going to be Olaf and Alawi. They're gone for the top side. Everyone picked last game is gone, but will the bans change up, or will it be more of the same? And so far, it's changed slightly. We got Nunu, but Viego still the first pick.
Makes sense. Yeah, one of the interesting things about Fearless, like overall, Fearless brings a lot of draft diversity, but one interesting thing about it is that you don't have reaction bans, because if you just got smoked by something, like, you don't need to ban it. It's already gone. So a lot of times with Fearless series, we see the bans stay relatively similar between the series. At least if you're targeting, your opponent's most played or something. If you have a little bit more of a plan, then maybe you're teeing yourself off for, okay, now we've got, one counter to this champion ban through Fearless. We're going to add in one more ban. That's like a hard counter. And then we're going to first pick or something. It does open up some other angles, but I think it's pretty common to just see those bans stay exactly the same across the whole series in a lot of cases.
I agree. I think we'll see a lot of the similarity, but the picks, they're going to change, and the first new pick is a Mumu coming out. Could be flex jungle, could be flex support. A little bit of opportunity there.
Both of these junglers have pulled out a Mumu in Conqueror League in previous weeks, so I was expecting this to be a contested pick, and it is the B1 for PTF this time. And yeah, that's I mean, you know, strong engage, a lot of AoE, but it's gonna be answered with the Lilia, which is, you know, I don't play jungle enough to know how that matchup goes, but I feel like she's got the upper hand in damage. But if she gets locked down by a Mumu and there's some good follow up on the side of PTF, they can kind of just nuke her because she's not that tanky.
Yeah, so we'll see where the go. Jinx coming through here. So good. Definitely want to take that away from the Milio. That'd be painful. The Lulu coming out. Good, solid combo here. A lot of defensive capability, a lot of offensive capability. I think it does well into Milio too. It's Lulu. Always an effective tool. And the Twitch gonna come out and release him for 2
Twitch.
late game hyper scaling AD carries with their Enchanter supports. Okay.
It's, yeah, 2 very different styles of champion. You know, the Twitch liking to go into stealth and make sneaky plays, whereas the Jinx, you know, much more traditional, front to back, AD carry. If Twitch can find those angles, I think it gets a ton of value here. I mean, we'll have to see what PTF picks, but they're pretty reliant on the Amumu to kind of shut that carry down right now. So I'm gonna hope to see maybe some more counter engage picked up by them, as most of the bans now going over to the solo laners, some of those top bans from PTF and mid bans from Elysium. And yeah, it's both teams so far got fairly similar comps, you know, AoE damage in the jungle, carries. Oh, and it's another support over on the side of Elysium. Karma probably going to be going mid, but could be flex top, maybe.
I think that's a mid Karma. I would assume that's mid Karma, but that's definitely a mid Rise, which I think Rise is always a fun pick to see. I like to watch players pilot that. Yeah, he's a production thing. He's a mid champ. I mean, I guess
and singed
mid and a singed. Okay. Food battle deciding if I can't run at them as Olaf, what if I run away from them? So changing it up a little bit is the Kale. And it comes. Okay, so this is a very defensive comp with a lot of late game scaling for Elysium, but I am worried about the early game for this team.
Yeah. Early game, not very existent. I mean, Karma can be a bit of a bully in mid, but also they have very little CC. It's Milio Q, Lilia ult, and Karma's W, which barely even counts. So a lot of, very conditional CC. I think it's going to be hard to stop the Jinx from going in. I mean, they do have like some disengage tools. You know, the Milio Q can be very useful, like punt a Mumu out of his bandage toss, things like that. But it's once again a composition that, you know, may struggle to find angles depending on how this game goes. If they're ahead, they'll have no issues, but I wouldn't expect them to be.
And Kale is one of the strongest mid laners, right? One of the strongest mid laners, but also the strongest champions right now. So a good pick overall. Has a lot of power in the late game, and her items are in a good spot, but it like you said, like very weak early game. They don't really have much frontline later on. I guess it's Lilia, and it's not like PTF is lacking scaling. They have Rise and they have Jinx, and if Singe gets to late game, I don't even know if Kale's gonna kill him. It's Singe.
Yeah. I guess the front line is shields and Kale ult, which will buy a lot of time. Like if they're using all of their cooldowns to keep Twitch alive, he will stay alive for quite a while. But you know, it's conditional. It's all related to cooldowns. When if you use those abilities on Twitch and then they dive the Milio, he might be in trouble and all of that.
Yeah. And I think also, you know, I know it would divert some of her damage scaling, but if you got like Shield Break, what's that? It's called Shield Breaker, right?
Serpent's Fang?
Yeah, Serpent's Fang. So I don't keep calling it Shield Breaker. I think I've played too much.
I mean, it do be breaking shields.
Yeah, so if you get that on Jinx, yeah, you lose some damage, but it basically nullifies the Milio and the Karma. So I think that could be the play here. Then you just, if they don't have the shield potential, they're kind of in a really bad spot. I also think they could have just picked someone that broke shields. There's some supports that do that.
Yeah, Renekton can do that top. I think Rel does that with her.
Yeah,
Q.
Rel does. Rel and Emilio is a little rough, but
yeah, that's a counter matchup for sure.
Yeah, but yeah, you just get Serpent Fang and you call it good. Yeah, it's lethality, but the ability to just rip through the shields is already going to just make it worth it. So I think if one of them gets that, it could be good.
Bot lane hits level 2 for the side of PTF, but Elysium respects it. Not going to get too caught out by any of that damage.
Oh, did I have the backwards in draft? Wait, are they backwards? Who's? No, okay, it's not. I'm just crazy. I was reading it wrong, and with the split that we're seeing, it shows Elysium on the left, PTF on the right. I'm like, wait a minute, hang on.
Yeah.
As Eka getting flipped around here, doesn't really have that early game advantage like he did last time. And
wow, Titanium's very low on mana mid after all of this trading. Cordelia pretty happily up in health and mana, and is probably going to look to try to keep this Rise here, you know, deny farm, and that is the strength of the Karma, is mostly in this early game. If the game goes late, I think Rise can dominate on the side lane, but for now, yeah, you need to kind of play aggressive, build up your lead, try to use that to, get objectives and all that.
Yeah, and he's got, I mean, Doran's Ring gives him enough mana to kind of keep him in this, and I'm sure he's running Mana Flow Band, because that's just a really good rune on Rise as a whole. And the trading, you know, Rise is definitely a champion that struggles a bit in the early game, but once you get like Archangels online, maybe get just one more mana or AP item, he becomes a monster, honestly. Like once he's really getting about level 9, that's when you really get the spike with Rise and his ability to really just become a machine gun mage. So I think Karma's on a clock here. If she doesn't get a strong lead, like, I mean, obviously she's going to fall off, but if she doesn't get a strong lead, she's just going to be purred into a completely nullified status very shortly if she's not careful. And Cordelia, though, is trading well, but here comes the Amumu Lilia nearby. So Mango ready to jump in if Crispy Nuggets gets a little too crispy here, and going to push the Karma out of the lane. But on the bottom side, PTF's bot lane doing well. I mean, they had a good game last time, despite our concerns about the lane, or at least my concerns about the lane matchup. They did very well. So I'm interested to see how they'll do in this one with a stronger lane, as they do get a lot of poke there. Rutenium, taking a lot of damage there.
Staying on a sliver of HP, but it does have the teleport. Should be able to get back to lane before losing too much. I think Cordelia is going to try to push this hard and just, try to deny as many minions to turret as possible before taking a reset of their own.
Bottom lane, Guster taking a lot. Oh, not a lot. He dodged the zap. And he's down in CS about 8 currently. So PTF bot lane
will be crashing. So get to
will
recoup
be
a little bit of that.
But how much of it will they get before PTF just kind of pokes them out of it? Okay, so they are just going to kind of hold
they're
it
doing
there.
okay for now. I really want to see PTF put some pressure up towards top side. I think if they can set Yika behind on this Kale, that's going to be huge. Nice sidestep also from Guster. Dodging a lot of these zaps coming out of Jinx.
Yeah, it's been very good dodging them so far. And I agree. I think I want to see Yika get set behind. Like, it's Kale. Yeah, she's going to eventually hit that point no matter what, where she is just unkillable machine, but that's so late in the game. It's like 4th item, so this is a great time to set her behind.
If you can have that Singe kind of unlocked and just running into people's faces, not caring about the damage that they deal, I think that's really the ideal spot to be in. But Yika does hit 6 first, and now is going to have a much easier time trading back onto the Singe. So already a bit of that window kind of closing, I think, for shutting this Kale down. Still is, very squishy, has a long CD on the ultimate, but yeah, a lot harder for the Singe to punish, at least in isolation.
Yeah.
Now that
I think it's the Nashers and the Lich Bane that really becomes the point when Kale's strong, because she just procs it so easily. But right now she's just got the recursive bow, and so isn't really able to do quite a lot of damage. And Singe is 6, so even if he gets low, he just ults and just runs around for a second, and back to basically full health. So the window you're right, it is closing, but there is still some time. There is time for Crispy Nuggets to get a little crispy up here and find some plays. Hasn't found anything yet, but
yeah, neither of the junglers really have done anything. They're dead even in farm, and I think if you're Lilia, you're pretty happy about that, because Amumu's early gank's much more potent than the Lilia's, but Kingmaker kind of walking into the enemy on the dragon here.
Yeah, there's 4 members here. They've got to be careful. Kingmaker goes too far forward. It could get surrounded by Guster and the boys. This Egg White, though, is going to push him off. Tries to keep the Twitch just locked in the lane. And No one else from PTF coming down, so I think they're just really trying to make something. They just kind of poke them off this, but Kingmaker gonna get low, gonna get rooted up, and is probably gonna die right here. Yes, it's gonna be the first blood going over to Guster 7 minutes into the game, and Dragon gonna go over to Elysium. So Elysium off to another strong start, a little bit later than last time, but still off to a good position in this game. And couple jungle camps for crispy nuggets in exchange. I don't think it was worth it.
Yeah, and it's, you know, I've just got a question walking up there at all from Kingmaker. That's seems like the call was pretty clearly given to to give the dragon over, as you see the Amumu up on the top side and Rise just hitting plates mid. You know, I wouldn't bank on stealing dragon with a glitter lance. That is a high risk play with, you know, yeah, denying it would be nice, but now you've got first blood over on Twitch, and that is a champion you do not want getting ahead if you're on PTF.
Yeah, and it is AD Twitch, not going to be the cheesy AP Twitch, it's just normal Twitch. Probably for the best because there's a lot of AP damage on the side of Elysium. Same with PTF, they both just basically have 80 carries and then AP down the rest of the board. But they are going to get the grubs, so at least PTF has that. So kind of the same trade as the last time. Strong grub control for the team. And Ika trying to stop Food Battle, who's doing Singe things.
Starting to proxy here.
Yeah.
Gonna be interesting to see if they can use that tempo, as Singed is running mid, but no opportunity to be found. Looks like the Rise is just taking a reset. And so Singed goes back top to do some more Singed things.
You know, fun fact, I've been playing this game since right around the start of Season 1. Singed is one of only, I think, 3 champions that I have that I only just hit Mastery 1 on. That's how little I am. Trying to think of the other one. Aurelion used to be in that, but the new Aurelion is much better. But yeah, I've never really played a lot of Singed. I don't. He is one of those champions that I don't like because he changes your play style so differently than other champions in the game. You're basically learning a whole new game to play because you have to play it so weird. And so I've never been a fan of him. But Singed like this is always the bane of my existence. I'm like, he just runs around. He's like Mundo. He just goes where he pleases, and I can't do anything about it. And
Jungler's looking bot here.
Yeah, Mango gonna get the ult, the Drowsy onto Egg White, who's gonna get ulted by the Lulu, and Crispy Nugget comes in. They're gonna pick up the first kill onto Mango. Arrow about to fall as well. Gonna flash over the wall. The rocket is gonna go wide and actually doesn't hit either champion. They're rooting up Guster, who is going to have to cleanse to get out of that, but a good counter gank from PTF. Titanium, you know, not gonna get. We're gonna lose a bit of farm, but we'll have the teleport to at least get back to lane pretty quick. And that's for watch what happened again here.
Yeah, I mean, so we see the Amumu over on the Krugs. Elysium does not, however, know about this, and then Mango not hitting the initial swirl seed and has to flash R. But when you only hit one person with that, you know, and then the knock up and with the Lulu ultimate really sets Jinx up to go crazy. I like this flash from Arrow though, very bold, flashing into enemy territory and a nice sidestep. But yeah, I think that's just too deep to be sending things when, you know, this Lilia is not that tanky in the early game, and now Cordelia is in trouble.
Cordelia getting low, and Crispy Nugget gonna pick up the kill. We were saying Karma strong lane because it shows high bases, but is it doesn't really have much else. Doesn't really have the ability to get the ganks, and will fall off later in the game. So, but I don't think you want those kills on Amumu. I think you would rather have those on the Rise, but it's okay. He's got a full item, got the Leandries, and Food Battle and Ecog continuing to just trade this out. In the bot lane, though, starting to become a problem for Elysium. PTF's bot lane is just finding so many more opportunities here. The Jinx is becoming a threat much quicker. Already has the Utals up, so we'll get that stacking much faster. And
I think Twitch must be close to a Yentl of his own shortly here, but yeah, until you base and spend that gold, it does not do anything. So yeah, Jinx a lot scarier right now, and they might look for a regank with the Lilia, but we saw how that went last time. I don't know if this is where you want to be. Well, I mean, yes, you do want to shut down the Jinx. She is kind of the carry for PTF, but Crispy Nuggets is also here.
Oh! Warfare feat is going to be claimed as Egg White gets the rocket to just nuke Arrow. No one even tries to save the Milio.
Milio is a very squishy. Can't really be trading with the Jinx, you know. I mean, she's got that long range and stacks up the attack speed. She's got that lethal tempo and the Yuntal, so just ramps up in damage really heavily. And then really, trading with Rutenium, but already starting to look like Ryze kind of wins this.
Yeah, you only have really 2 damage abilities on Karma, and one of them isn't really a super damage ability. It's more of like you hit ult heal. So we'll lose out in the extended trades, especially Rutenium has shown he can land all of those the Ryze combo. The Q W Q E Q is hitting very well with them.
Now they do get a kill onto Food Battle up in the top side. The Lily and Kale working together, you know, very fast. Actually able to catch the Singe down and get the kill. Although, now that I look at it, I guess Food Battles was just down for a little longer on the Singe. But yeah, dies with Flash up. Never feels good. The Kale is building a pretty good lead up in the top side. So, you know, despite how things are going in the bot side for Elysium, I think they still have a good win condition in the back pocket.
Oh, Cordelia picking up Rutenium in the 1v1. That burst was quite a bit from the Q. And Elysium pulling themselves back into the game. It's kind of reverse from last time. They had the rougher early game this time. BTF with the stronger early game. But Todd is on the later scaling this time, so this might work better. And like you said, building quite the lead here. Up 30 CS, has an assist, gonna go back. Doesn't have the full item, but I think is gonna have that Nashers now. Might be able to get a little bit more. I have to see when they get back what they're buying. There is the Nashers. Anything else coming along with it is going to be another recursive blade. Okay. So, see where they're going to build with that. I'm trying to think of what you're going to build. There's a couple options to do recursive blade.
Could be Blade of the Ruined King. Could be, I don't know. It's, yeah, but basically an on-hit Kale build coming through here. So a little more focused towards the sustained damage instead of the, you know, auto E burst that you could get with like a Lichbane, and Arrow's caught out.
Yeah, Arrow caught out again, gonna drop the ultimate, but Egg White gonna knock him out. Guster popping the ult, trying to nuke through Kingmaker, but Egg White is still dishing damage. He's gonna really poke at this turret. They should get this pretty easy. I don't think anybody on the side of Elysium. Yeah, but poor Milio. It's a rough time to be Arrow. Just keeps getting caught.
Yeah, and it's not even, well, it was some CC there, but I mean, we've seen the Jinx will just explode the Milio at the back end of these plays, just when you think he might be out on a slow, you know, decent chunk of HP. Yeah, the Super Mega Death Rocket deals a lot of damage to finish those kills off, and yeah, Jinx is up a BF sword over the Twitch at this point, and that lead is continuing to explode because they got a full turret with Plate's bot also.
Oh, Food Battle forced a flash and ghost. So the flash over from Mango looking for a kill. That felt really unnecessary once you forced the sums. And now in the mid lane, 3 members here, Egg White and Rutenium against 3, but these are very strong members. Oh, no. Arrow getting caught with another root forced a flash. And that's 2 flashes down from Elysium overall. They lose Ghost and Flash on PTS side for Food Battle, but it's an instant. He's just gonna only basically free Ghost anyways. So I don't know if that was quite worth it, and they're going to get the Herald too, so game really starting to push towards BTS favor. But again, a lot of scaling, both these teams strong late games. And I think it's going to come down to the Kale. It's going to come down to the Kale and Twitch and the Ryze and the Jinx. Who can machine gun better?
I agree for the most part, but the big difference is that huge AoE CC that PTF has in the Amumu. I mean, so far we've seen that get a ton of value on, you know, the bot ganks and that catch in mid lane, and Elysium doesn't really have that same level of just, you know, stun someone up, get Jinx a reset, and the fight's already over. It's a little, I think it's a little more, I don't know, obscure the exact path they need to follow. I guess it's, you know, have Twitch stealth on someone and kind of open up the same way, but yeah, it's a little, I think it's a bit less reliable for them to find those plays.
Yeah, and the gold lead up 2,000 right now for PTF. It's not an unsurmountable position, but a solid one. About 17 minutes into this game. And they're prepping now. Dragon up in a minute here. It's going to be a Cloud Drake, so Cloud Soul this game. That's a good one, I think, for at least Singed. Singed, love that. And Lilia. I don't know if anyone else really. Maybe Twitch.
I mean, move speed is just an overpowered stat in general. You know, Jinx being able to space out a little better in the fights and, yeah, position before they break out to be in the best spot possible to do the max amount of DPS, I think is very valuable. Even if, you know, the specific ult interaction might not be as valuable.
Yeah, the dragons themselves, I think, worth more than the soul this game because they both only have one person on each team that really makes good advantage of ulting into the soul for that movement speed. Singed and Lilia, everyone else kind of like
Food battle's looking for Guster here. He has the stealth and
gonna get out.
Just walks away.
Fun. The dragon is gonna be the name of the game here, so they are getting ready for that. 6 seconds left, and PTF has complete control of the area. I don't think anybody is gonna contest it. So they should have this pretty free. The Lilia just gonna try to counter jungle, get some vision, because there's no camps to take. PTF doing a really good job clearing those camps out, and they're gonna get the dragon for free here. So 2 dragons going over to PTF. They also have the feats from earlier. The Drowsy coming through onto the rise. Rutenium. Oh, hang on a moment. Yika forced to ult to try to get out and flash, and will fall still. Rutenium getting the tray, gets 2 ults and a flash for it. And then meanwhile, with 2 top, that's the call for PTF. They're going to lose that top turret, but they're going to take the inner bot turret. Might be able to take this inhibitor turret, too. Won't want to take the inhibitor. I think it's too early in the game. They don't want to really lock it.
They're going to drift?
He's drifting. He's drifting to the other lane. Oh, what a smart play.
In deep, but...
Yeah, taking the
I like that.
turret, looking for Cordelia. Football's going to flip him back. They're just going to wrap him around, but he's going to get the heal from the tether, so... I think that was really clever from Crispy Nuggets.
And PTF is just doing such a good job of just blowing up these mid games. You know, it feels like the game's like pretty even, and then suddenly, you know, they're finding themselves getting a dragon, 2 turrets, like, and even a 1-for-1 on the side on their weak side. So they can be pretty happy about everything that's going on the Rift right now.
Just watch this again. I thought he was going to go for the next turret, but he changes his mind at the last second. He's like, you know, let's go over here, get some damage on this. We can break it. Let's see if we can kill Cordelia. Gets really close, gets the ultimate. The tether is really the only thing that keeps Cordelia alive here. Without that tether, I think he just dies. Yeah, that heal was just what he needed to live, but they do lose that inner bot turret for it. So good play overall from PTF. Crispy Nugget with the big brain Herald play there. And now they're up 3,000 gold, so it hasn't expanded massively, but...
Most of the lanes are pretty close. That lead is really largely on the Jinx, who, I mean, you can feel it. You can feel it when Arrow has to check these bushes and try to get vision, but Jinx can just fire those rockets over the wall from long range, and now Yika's looking caught out.
Yeah, Yika has been definitely caught out. Gonna get the ultimate to try to save himself. Trying to stop Egg White. And does quite a bit of damage, but it's not going to be enough. Will fall here. Meanwhile, Cordelia teleports in. Arrow's been caught. Rutenium gonna pick up that kill. And the flash forward. Oh, looking for Mango. Gonna land the stun. The rocket coming through. They're looking for him. Can they finish him off? I do not know if they will. They will not be able to. Oh, he looks for the chain. But the Nuggets, they aren't quite as crispy. He's looking for Rutenium. Guster gonna pick it up, but they will trade back. This food battle takes down Mango, and now members of PTF on the run, getting very low. Got to be careful here. Kingmaker gonna get popped there on the side by Guster, and the flash from Egg White to get away. Guster has no mana though. Oh, here comes food battle though. He's looking for somebody. Gonna get the flip onto Cordelia, who does manage to have the chain. The teleport is coming through from Yika, so looking to maybe clean up here. Failed the first time, but it is Kale, and they're gonna start up the Atacan. And for PTF, it's an Atacan because they can't contest this. Oh, but Egg White is staying around.
They're thinking about it. I mean, the Otacon does so much damage that Jinx might be able to find a reset on someone, and that could completely turn the tides of this fight.
Yika getting low. Crispy Nugget also getting low here. Yika looking for him, but getting stunned back up. Gonna get the shutdown, but Rutenium will manage to trade 1-for-1. Atacon still low. Kingmaker is here. Mango as well. A lot of members No crispy nugget. Atacon is going to go over to Elysium, but can they get out? Rutenium on the hunt, looking for somebody to maybe stun. Oh, the bounce from the EQ combo. Gonna land. Do quite a bit, but Atacon does go over to Elysium. Dragging up in 58 seconds, so this would put PTF on soul point. This might be the call for them.
I think that Otacon is a really crucial pickup for Elysium, though. That is going to help them a lot in these team fights. If they can get an early kill with Twitch, that's going to the slow and the damage is going to provide a lot more target access and just help knock the dominoes down a little bit once the first one falls. If PTF was able to get that, I think it's pretty close to GG. But yeah, Elysium's still hanging on. They're down about 2,500 gold here, going into the late-ish game, mid to late game, kind of. Baron hasn't even spawned. I guess we can't really call it late game, but PTF has certainly been pushing the tempo this game, so it feels later than it is. And Mango's walking in.
Yeah, Mango walking in, gonna get caught, gonna get bounced, housed around, trying to run away, but Rutenium gonna go boom, dead with the machine gun fire. Lulu ult was burned, sorry, not Lilia ult, but Free Dragon going over to PTF as they're gonna put themselves on soul point here, uncontested. We were saying, Kale level 15, so close to that final peak in terms of the evolutions, the full transcendence of the Kale.
Hex flashing over the wall. Let's go.
Oh, also that recursive bow, it became a Gwinsu's. Interesting. I don't think Gwinsu's is as good anymore on her as it used to be. I feel like you want other options.
I think is Riftmaker even good on Kale? I'm not sure. I know you can go Rylai's to slow down the enemies a little bit because I think it applies on the waves from her passive. And so that's an option that could kind of help you kite out in fights against the Singed and the Amumu. I think there's a few options she could have gone up that might give a little more value, but we'll see. She is getting collapsed on here.
Yeah, we'll talk more about her optimal build after that flash out. She is safe, but I think the most optimal build is Berserkers and Nashers into Lichbane, because it does proc pretty consistently on her and gives that big burst of damage, but also then going in for Rabadons, Rylai's, and then I usually like to run Shadow Flame for the crit for when you get them low, so you can get that E to crit people for the execute attack. I think that's the better approach here, especially the Rylai's. I think getting Rylai's pretty early is good because you just slow everyone while you're auto attacking. But I just don't think the Gwinsu's is it. You don't really need all that attack speed. You've already got enough from Berserkers and Nashers.
Oh, Drowsy on a Mumu.
Yeah, Drowsy onto a Mumu. The ult is going to come in from the Lulu, but won't be enough. The ult ult's coming in from Jinx. Mumu got his ult out, but I don't think it actually locked anyone down. I think it just began the animation, so it is a cooldown. But 4 members...
Kingmaker, where are you going?
Going way too far forward. Cordelia now running to get to Rutenium, who's going to be forced to flash. Cordelia, though, on the wrong side of the wall here. And now they're trying to lock him up, going to root him in place, looking to take him down. The Baron has been pissed off, and now he's attacking Elysium, so a 5th member for PTF. As they are trying to just draw the fire from it. Kingmaker now going to be the center of attention for it. Rutenium trying to just throw balls in and out. Food Battle is here, charging forward and then backing off. In and out these teams go, and Elysium, they're a little worried of how low they are. They do not want to give Egg White the reset. That could just turn this into a very bad fight for them. So they're going to back off here. Kingmaker also low. Rutenium just going to go get mid pushing, and overall, a 1-for-0 trade for Elysium stops any further push, but they can't find anything else out of it.
So, I think a bit of an overstep from Cordelia, turned what was looking like a very good play into kind of a panic and back off response for the side of Elysium. Food Battle is going to get this turret up top, so a little bit more gold into the pockets of PTF, who, have stuck to this gold lead pretty consistently throughout the mid game. And there's level 16 on Yika, but you might be face checking Rutenium. Okay.
It's one of the few people I wouldn't want to face check right now. Rutenium is very scary. Both AD carries are only level 13, but Rutenium is 16 as well with Yika. Has been farming pretty heavily. Has the almost the entirely maxed out. Actually, no, that is a fully maxed Archangels, that is the max Rod of Ages. So is really online at this point. I think once he gets the Rabadons, this will just become a don't stand near Rise moment. But yeah, not as strong a game as he had last time on the Mel, but also, you know, don't have Yika isn't feeding him a lot of kills with Lally. So still a good game for him. 4-3 on the Rise, and 3,500 gold up. PTF just kind of chilling out. They're waiting for this dragon. It comes up in a minute. I think that's going to be the next point we see a fight break out. As Rutenium and Crispy Nugget, they get on to the Kale. The Kale gonna ult, but not getting them out. The Rutenium gonna go on a killing spree, and I think that's just a free dragon for PTF. Elysium, unless they really want to stop this soul, have really no options.
They might try to counter with a Baron take, though, seeing the pathing that Elysium's taking. It's still 30 seconds till this dragon's up, so PTF is not hard committed to that bot side, and they will spot it out on that pink ward. You know, Yika will be up only seconds after the dragon spawns, so if PTF doesn't do it immediately on spawn, there's still a chance of a fight.
Yeah, Kingmaker, but has been found, and here comes Rutenium into the fight. Egg White gonna go on a rampage here, picking off the Karma. Now Mango trying to run, trying to make a drowsy. Crispy Nugget gonna pick up that kill, though, puts someone to sleep, but it's not gonna be enough. It's just food battle. Kingmaker now charging forward. Food battle, hunting, going, flashing, gets the flash out of Guster, gonna get the flip, gets the rat rooted up, and he goes rat tat 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 to his death. Maybe? No, he's not. He's actually gonna manage to get away. The Milia will keep him alive, but they will lose their inhibitor turret for it. Harrow getting blasted by Egg White. Egg White does quite a bit of damage right now, and the inhibitor will fall. And I think that's the call for PTF. Let's go get the dragon. Let's back. We can go for Baron afterwards. Elysium's going to have to deal with this. And yeah, again, Elysium getting a little too big for their britches.
I mean, that's just the persistent weakness of this comp is you don't really have a tank. So anyone who has to go face check is, you know, if they're alone, they are easy pickings, and it's happened a couple times to Mango earlier, to Yikod this time around. And you really need to be grouped like as 5 really to, you know, have enough shields and have that kill to be a little more resilient if you do get caught out. They're gonna turn towards the Baron maybe here, as Yikod does have the Rylai's for a bit of slows, but yeah, Kingmaker is very fast and able to get out of there.
Cordelia's got the Shurelias, but I'm just call it the Cordelias. But that is unfortunately not going to be enough to run him down. His arrow gets run down here. Egg White's doing so much damage. Blows him up and goes unstoppable. Down goes Mango. Rutenium going to go on a rampage here. Yika gets the ultimate, trying to get down as Rutenium goes into the back. Food Battle going to slay Yika. Rutenium looking for Cordelia here. Cordelia trying to run, trying to get those slows, managing to get away so far. Food Battle is on the hunt. He's looking, he's grounding. He is going to flip. But will the flip be enough? Maybe not. Guster now just firing with those blasts. And Food Battle will be forced Flash to get out of there, but he's just buying time. I think that's going to be the game. PTF is going to secure these Nexus securits. They're going to secure the Nexus. They're going to secure one more kill onto Cordelia, as Egg White's looking for Guster. Oh my god, he's going to just get him while he's healing. And that's going to be the game. PTF takes the series 2-0.
Big game for PTF. Yeah, I am excited to see more from PTF in the future, because they showed a lot of explosiveness in these games. You know, I think playing super decisively to their win conditions, getting Egg Whites ahead this game, you know, with Rutenium getting super ahead in game number 1. And yeah, it feels like they really know how they want to play fights and follow through on that pretty consistently, even with, you know, they were down some in game number 1, or when it seemed like Elysium was making a comeback for a second there in game number 2. They get their heads back on straight, they lock in, and yeah, they clean house with a 2-0. It's just really well played.
Yeah, I think that was very well played by them. And once again, Rutenium topping the damage charts. I think I'd give him the MVP of today. He was definitely MVP in game 1, and was, if not the dominate with Egg White, was very powerful in the second game too on the Rise. Managed to get some good picks, some good catches. And yeah, I think definitely Rutenium is definitely looking so far like a star mid laner from what I've seen today. That's 2 very different mid laners. This played and managed to pilot exceptionally well. So I think this is a team definitely to keep an eye on. Their bot lane is solid. Their mid is strong. Their jungle's good. Their top, I think that might be the weakest part. But even then, Food Battle is still just good.
Yeah.
If your weakest point is still good, that's a great place to be at. And for the side of Elysium, I think they still did good, but there's some mid-game stuff I think they need to really work on.
I'd agree. I think if they can, play a little more towards the win conditions, as well as maybe, I think in game number 2, that draft was very difficult to play. So, I identify the win conditions and play towards them. I think it almost felt like they over-indexed into saying, hey, Twitch is our guy. We're going to make him impossible to kill. But it's like there wasn't a lot of like damage or CC anywhere else in the comp. And that made a lot of those mid-game fights really hard to take unless you've already got yourself in the optimal position. Yeah, as soon as the vision gets cleared out a little, it gets so hard to play. But I still think they showed a lot of fight. Taking the lead in game number 1. Getting that fight into the Otacon, punishing the overstay from PTF in game number 2. A lot of good things from Elysium to capitalize on. Oh, I also did not realize. I did not note properly that Elysium was also playing with a sub this game. So that also, could definitely make a difference. Guster is actually, I think, normally the jungler, and they would have a different person playing. They would have Dilly down in the bottom lane. So yeah, the substitution could definitely affect how things went. Maybe if they were playing with their starting lineup, that could be a totally different story.
Yeah, so this will be a little chip on the shoulder for them, and they've got something to prove. Yeah, it's gonna be. I'll see how they do next time they play each other. But we're going to, before we go, throw it off to our wonderful Titan Esports merch. If you want to get some of that, it's awesome. It's beautiful. Look at that. Look at that. That just immaculate merch. That coat. Chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. You can grab some now over at the Friend or Foe store at fofesports.com/Titan. Show your support for us. Show your support for Titan. Go pick up some merch today. It's available now. Don't miss it. That's the winter merch. I want. Where is the tank? Where is my Titan tank? Tank for Titan. That's the next merch. Chris Songa, give me that tank to Titan. But that's all we've got from us today. Thank you so much. We're gonna throw it over to a commercial break before a raid to one of our other friends. So don't go anywhere.